Okay, we are on time. Once again, good morning, everyone. So Shamil, Arpit, or Prateek, you are able to hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. A warm welcome. Welcome to the webinar on Career with Salesforce CRM for Freshers. This is Mansa, the HR Director of ABSYZ, your host for the day or for the webinar. We have a very amazing panel for today's webinar from ABSYZ, who is going to share a lot of insights about the Salesforce CRM platform from their experiences, and also we would know how their journey has been. So please be ready for the next 45 minutes for an amazing deep dive on the Salesforce CRM platform from our panel. So let me introduce my panel. As I have already mentioned, I am Mansa, the Director of HR in ABSYZ. We have our first panel, Mr. Prateek Kumar, Technical Architect with ABSYZ. He hails from Deoghar, Jharkhand. It's a pilgrimage where one of the 12 Jyotirlingas is situated. He has a very good story to share how he landed in ABSYZ and his story and the Salesforce CRM experience and journey. So let's wait and see his journey and hear his journey. Our next panel is Mr. Shamil Ahmed, very young lad in the organization who is a consultant, and he is from the city Mangalore, Rome of city and city of beaches. This is very interesting. So let's wait for him to hear. He is hired in ABSYZ through MIT placements. So I have a lot of students from the same placements. So please wait for him. We would hear more about him in this webinar. So welcome Prateek and Shamil. Hope you guys are excited about this webinar. So welcome once again.
Thank you, Mansa.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. So before we deep dive and know more about the Salesforce CRM, which you're all excited to know, let's see what ABSYZ is about. A small intro about the ABSYZ organization. So the first slide itself says, if you have a vision, we have a solution. So very young organization, very young leaders. It's a very transparent and a very flexible organization. As you see on the slide, 250 plus enterprise Salesforce projects. The QSAT score is 4.85 out of 5. 400 plus, we are about 450 plus dedicated Salesforce resources as of today. 450 plus Salesforce certifications. So while in the webinar, you will listen or hear more about the certifications, what needs to be done, what is the platform all about. So you will understand or you will be able to relate about the Salesforce certification, how important it is and why we have been highlighting it here. And we are in 5 plus locations. So I'm sure before attending this webinar, I'm sure you guys have must have done research. If not, please do visit our website. We are just giving you a glimpse about it in the slide. We are expertised in force.com, sales cloud, service cloud, marketing cloud, community cloud, CPQ, CRM. These are all the modules of the Salesforce platform and few of the Salesforce offerings as mentioned on the screen. 90 plus active customers, 98% business repeat, 15 plus technical architects, wherein Prateek will add more on his expertise and his knowledge on the technical architects platform. We are a CMMI level 3 organization and 12 plus Salesforce capability tracks. So what is capability tracks? What are we talking about? We will know more about this in the webinar. Prateek, would you like to add anything here on the project experience and the delivery experience?
So yeah, as the number suggests, right, we are top tier Salesforce integrators. As you can see, our customer satisfaction is a 4.85, which is quite good in terms of industry standards. And yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the rest of the stuff like the capability tracks and the things we do to enhance the knowledge base of our employees or overall. So we'll talk about it in detail.
Yes, Prateek. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so we had a quick introduction about the organization. Now let's get into the intro of the Salesforce CRM. So I will request our panel, Mr. Prateek, to talk about it and take it forward.
So yeah, hi everyone. I'm Prateek. I work as a technical architect here, as Mansa said. So today we will look into like what is Salesforce in general. We will not deep dive into the technical stuff too much, but yeah, we'll get to know about what Salesforce is. because means when you hear about Salesforce, it can bring a lot of things into your mind. Like there's a word term sales in it. So is it something regarding sales, or what's force, or what's CRM? So when we talk about it in general, so Salesforce started back in 1999, and compared to all the big giants in the IT industry, it's quite a what to say, new company if we talk about rest of the IT ecosystem. But then the progress and the development that Salesforce has seen is outstanding. So just to give you an overview, uh, Salesforce, when it started with few employees. Now it's the biggest employer in the San Francisco Bay Area. So that is how the rise. It actually overtook Microsoft there. So that is how big it is now. It is one of the biggest IT or companies in the world. And now coming to the Salesforce side of things. So when you hear Salesforce, it started as a CRM platform. Now, what is CRM? CRM is the full form is customer relationship management. It deals with your overall customer 360-degree view. When I say 360-degree view, is like one place where a customer can know about all the operations, the trends that are having that are there in their company. And Salesforce, before I go into the deep, let me tell you, when you hear Salesforce, sometimes in many websites, you will also see force.com. Okay, so Salesforce is also name of a company and name of a platform. Okay, which was the platform earlier was known as force.com platform. Now it's called Salesforce platform itself. So don't get, if you're reading anywhere, don't get confused that what is Salesforce. Salesforce is name of the company as well as the platform. Okay, and it's a PaaS. So when we say PaaS, many of you here would already know that it's a platform as a service which is hosted on cloud. So in a nutshell, Salesforce basically provides you a platform for it provides a platform for the customers to have a 360 view of their organization, which is hosted on cloud. Okay, like, and if you see over here, it gives means I've tried to summarize whatever is written here. But yeah, uh, can you move on to the next slide? Okay, so why Salesforce? See, Salesforce, as I said, like when we say PaaS, just to give you details on that, uh, you would have heard of many platforms, right? .NET is a platform, right? AWS is a platform. So Salesforce similarly provides you a platform wherein you can build your own apps. Okay. When I say apps, these are very much similar to, if I compare it to, let's say, Android. Okay. So Android gives you a platform where you can develop, right? Your developers use Android platform to develop apps. Similarly, Salesforce provides you a cloud platform where you can develop your own apps. Okay. Now, when I say cloud platform, what does cloud mean here? So cloud, see, when we say cloud, it's not somewhere in the clouds. It's actually hosted somewhere physically in some part of the world, or it might be in different parts of the world. But the only thing what cloud means is that you can access it without having to install anything in your local system, your laptops or your desktops. You don't need to install anything to use it. So you basically, if you have internet and you have a system, you can basically access Salesforce. That is what cloud means. Okay, you can, if you have internet accessibility, you can access it. You, like if I compare it to other platforms, like let's say I compare it to .NET. So people who are aware of .NET would know that you would need to have some basic configurations or basic setup in your local system in order to develop apps on that. Okay, but with Salesforce, that's not the case. So that is what cloud means. When we talk about Salesforce, the differentiator of Salesforce is that it is a very scalable platform where Salesforce by itself gives you a lot of inbuilt features. But if suppose those inbuilt features are not like sufficing your needs or the solution that you're trying to build, it's quite flexible in terms of customization. When I say customization, is like you have something which is uh, by standard provided by Salesforce, and on top of that you can also build your own solutions, and it's quite scalable. Okay. And now when we talk about features, see this customer 360-degree view. Okay, when we say about that, this term might seem a bit new to all the folks here, but in a nutshell, what we can say is, suppose you have or a company is looking to visualize how their different departments are doing at a single place. So when you go to the real world companies, what generally happens is a company uses lot of different platforms to bring to basically operate in different departments. So Salesforce gives you a single place, a unified place where you can actually see different trends or different operations that are happening in your companies and different departments. So that is how 360-degree view works. What does it helps in? When you say customer 360, different departments can uh, basically work on the same platform, and different departments can collaborate in terms of efficiency. So if you have a single view, obviously you will have a much better way forward to enhance your company goals, right? So that is what customer 360 means. I see someone raised a hand. Arpita, we're taking the questions at the end, right?
Yeah, so just for the benefit of the audience, you are all in the listening mode, and the questions will be taken at the end, but you still can post in your questions at the chat section. But we will have a slot for the question and answer section.
Thanks,
Yes,
thanks.
yes, yeah.
Okay. Now, the third point, if you see, it's written, it's a cloud-based in nature, uh, robust integration capabilities, and focus on innovation make it top choice for business. Now, when we say robust integration capabilities, right? So there are many places where there is a lot of diversification in terms of the solution or the tools or the softwares that a company uses. Okay, you cannot move from all those complex architecture to a place where you bring everything at one place all at once. So there is always a need for communication between different systems. Okay, and Salesforce by the platform itself provides you all the capabilities to integrate it with different systems without much hassle. Okay, so it's obviously you can build all of it on the on one platform, but if you again want to collaborate between different systems that are there in your system, that's also possible. Then the last point here says is focus on innovation. So when we say about innovation, nowadays the buzzword word is AI, right? Artificial intelligence. So Salesforce was one of the pioneers when it comes to AI. So Salesforce has been developing AI and giving it to the ecosystem much before the word became very famous, right? So the terms like data analytics, prediction, based on the data that you have in the system, this is being done by Salesforce from a very long time. So Salesforce, see, there's a platform that Salesforce provide, and on top of it, it also provides a lot of inbuilt products that you can that a company can purchase. Okay, so let me give you an example. So suppose you want a marketing solution, or you want let's say a data analytics solution. So Salesforce has different products which can actually help you build those automations with very few customizations. When I say customizations, you don't really need to build too much on top of that, but things are provided out of the box. Uh, okay. it is all in one solution. Yeah. So as I have been focusing here, right? So all at one place. So like, because you have the platform and it's available on cloud, so you can actually build everything at one place at a single point, and then you can use the data there to actually visualize what's happening in your company at a very high level, and also drill down into it if you need to. Yeah. Last but not least, it's security nowadays, and has always been a top concern for companies. When we talk about security, it's about data security, information security. In most of the countries around the world, if you see, personal data cannot be exposed to anyone else. There are very strict and stringent policies around data security. So Salesforce as a platform itself takes a lot of care of basically safeguarding personal information or safeguarding customer data so that it is not exposed to anyone else outside of the platform or outside of that particular customer itself. So if only the customer or the people who are authorized can access the data and no one else. So as a platform itself, Salesforce is quite secure, and it keeps updating its security with different releases. So Salesforce has three major releases all around the year, and with every release or some or an alternate release, there would be some or the other security feature that comes into picture. And Salesforce as a company keeps evolving in terms of security. Yeah. Okay, we can move ahead. So that was all about Salesforce. I know that you all would have a lot of questions. We will deal with the questions at the end of the session. But yeah, so moving on. So career growth in Salesforce. So when we talk about Salesforce as a whole, there are different verticals a technical person can work in Salesforce. So at the top, if you see, you can see Salesforce admins. So when I said earlier that Salesforce gives you a platform and some inbuilt features, okay, that you can utilize. So these inbuilt features are not coding; they are point and click solutions, okay. And a Salesforce admin is the best person who knows all about the configuration that is needed to set up that system. So they use out of the box features given by Salesforce to set up their solution. And Salesforce admin is the very beginning stage for a Salesforce professional. So now after that, if you see, it can be divided further going down as you move along in the ecosystem, you can choose any of these tracks. So if you see there's Salesforce developer. So Salesforce developer, what's a Salesforce developer do is they have the essential knowledge and capabilities to be a Salesforce admin. On top of that, they also have skill set to customize the solution as per the need of the customer. Okay, or need of the app they are building. Okay, so if you see that, that goes into the Salesforce developer track. Now, if I talk about Salesforce, okay, let me just go one by one. So if you see Salesforce developer, so that's the first stage where customization comes in. When I say customization, I don't want you to like confuse. So customization is nothing but having your own logic built on top of what is already provided. Okay, that's customization in simple words. A Salesforce developer, obviously, when he moves along, he becomes a senior Salesforce developer who has more skills than a technical lead. A technical lead probably is a person who handles a team of, let's say, few people who are developers and assigns tasks to them and also contributes as a developer. But as a technical lead, that person has a very wide view of the overall solution, and they are able to give suggestions to the developer on how to build it in a better way. They can also review their work. So that is a technical lead. Moving ahead is Salesforce solution architects. So architects are basically who actually understand what a customer is looking for, and they try to convert their business problems into technical solutions. Okay, So that is what the role of an architect is. So an architect at a very core is a developer, but then he also needs to have a sense of business side of things in order to actually translate business requirements into technical designs. So a Salesforce designer, architect designs the solution. When I say designs the solution, he suggests basically, if okay, we have a Salesforce platform, how what all different features of Salesforce platform can be utilized for building what part of things. Okay, he also suggests whether this solution would work better if it is integrated with some other system, or we can all build it custom in the Salesforce environment itself. So he has a overall view, and it's a very responsible job to be a solution architect, because the efficiency of the solution actually depends on how the design of the solution is. So that is how it works. Then we come to the consultant track. When we talk about consultant, uh, a consultant obviously in most of the cases knows the admin related stuff, as you can see, but then they are more inclined towards the capability of the platform. So they might not be able to actually build it in the system, but they would be able to tell whether a certain thing is possible or not in the system. Okay, and if possible, what all things can be done. So they are more aligned towards the capabilities of the system, okay, and capability of the platform. Okay. And if you see over there, the similar things, like as you move ahead, you become a senior consultant, then you become a principal consultant. Principal consultants are like equivalent to a solution architect in terms of the capabilities of a system. So just to give you an example, there can be different consultants for different products that Salesforce offers. Like I told earlier, right? The Salesforce has a different product for a different solution for marketing. So someone can be a master in marketing related solutions. Okay, the capabilities of it. Someone can be a master in, let's say, data analytics. Okay, so that's the consultant. Now, when we talk about the third area or the third domain that people can look into is business analysts. So, business analysis is a very, very important role in any of the Salesforce or any IT project for that matter, because business analysts are the people who have knowledge of the system and they interact with the business people. When I say business people, I'm talking about the customer or anyone who is trying to build a solution for some of their problems, digital solution for some of their problems. So business analysts talk to those people, get to know their pain points, document it, and then they are the bridge between the technical folks and the customer. So whatever they need, it is actually understood by a business analyst and then forwarded to the implementation team for implementation. So yeah, so if we talk about moving ahead, so a business analyst would probably move on to become a project manager and then a program manager. So project managers are basically people who run a particular project. When I say project, you can understand it in a way that it's one single implementation that is happening for one particular customer, and then they manage the whole thing. When they manage, I say they manage the team, they manage the timelines, they manage uh, anything and everything that happens in that project apart from the technical side of things. And then they can also become program managers. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, we can move ahead. Yeah, so I would hand it over to Mansa now. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, Pratik. That was very insightful. I'm sure the audience could take some takeaways as a basic CRM Salesforce platform. Now, let me talk about ladder to success and the career path in the axis as well. So as I was talking in the beginning, ABSYZ is a very transparent and flexible organization. We trust and believe our employees. ABSYZ offered a structured career progression for our employees, allowing them to grow in technically, consulting, and management tracks. So whatever you have seen in the chart, which Pratik was talking about in the previous slide, so we are into those tracks and we help and engage our employees, helping them to grow in those tracks. How we do that? We do it by leveraging through certifications, which you will know it in the next slide. By training, we have a very good training platform. We work on the capability tracks. We have a very beautiful team who helps and allow the organizations to grow, and a continuous learning opportunities. So there is no stop. If you want to learn and continuously grow, ABSYZ helps you, and it's a place where you can grow. So employees can navigate the career paths effectively within the organization. So employees progress from a junior to a senior developer roles, then to a technical architect, as and eventually to the leadership positions also. So we have leadership under 14. So you have the path to grow there as well. This is similar, not just in the technical path, it's also in the consulting and the management path. So if you want to know more details about the organization or about the opportunities with us, we request you to visit our website, ABSYZ, and also we are in LinkedIn, so you can go through our LinkedIn website. Okay, let's move on, Pratik and Shamil.
Yep.
Next slide, Shamil. On certifications track. Yes, Shamil.
Yeah, thank you, Mansa. So, as you know already, Mansa gave some quick introduction about me. So I'm Shamil Ahmed. I'm a Salesforce consultant in ABSYZ currently. So the ladder, we'll discuss again how we learned what all the things we had. Before that, just a quick intro. I won't go with any details about the technical things. Just a main intro about the certification. What all the things we have it in when it comes to Salesforce, as a stream. So the Salesforce certifications are something like that, which will validate how professional you are in particular things. So the certifications, we have a lot of certification compared to developing. If you're not developer, if you're a BA or a consultant, we have the certification for that also, which will tell the skills, like how much skilled you are in that particular professionals. So that's where the certification we have it, like in the Salesforce. So we already in ABSYZ also we have a lot of certified people in different streams, like a BA. We have different capability tracks. I will again explain what is capability tracks. We have it in ABSYZ, and what are the things we have it overall in the Salesforce as well. So coming to the certifications, there are, like if I mention, there will be huge, like the set of, but on top level, we have for the developers their own certification, like platform developer 1, which is the stage 1 for the developers. And then once they're done, they will go for the level 2 and other the developing related certifications. So if you are part of that, the developing stream, in that stream, if you want to go, like we have a different certification which will validate your skills based on that. So that's the first thing. And the administration and the business analyst, so for them also we have the administrator certifications, so which will skills their business perspective as well as the Salesforce. So if you're BA, the business analyst, if you want to be in that stream, it will be like both, he should be knowing at average of Salesforce, and even something on the business level. So that's where we have. And the third one, we have a professional exam. So what is this, basically? So as a Salesforce CRM, the platform, we have a different, again, the extension, whatever you can say, like, the additional things. So that we call it as the capabilities for the Salesforce. So similarly, we have a different capability in, we also training with the different capability in our ABSYZ, which is like AI, artificial intelligence. Currently, as Pratik mentioned, we already had this long ago, where the predictions and all the things are enabled in Salesforce. But more on that, the recent, if you know that artificial and machine learning was booming. So even we have the tracks, and the Salesforce has its own the AI thing. So we have a certification, the professional certification for the AI, and the marketing cloud, which is just deals with the marketing related stuff and the commerce, B2B. Then we have a consumer goods cloud, the particularly focus on consumer goods industries, and other, like, the finance, health cloud. So these are the clouds, like, the which specifically deals with its own business perspective. So it built in the back end, like, to reach the customer satisfaction about the same thing, like, the if health cloud, they have their own. So for these, we have their own professional examinations, which highlights, the skills, which validate their skills on this particular clouds. So how we can do these certifications? The main thing we need to know about uh, the Salesforce. So where we get these all of things. So for each and every examination, they have their own certain steps to complete the examinations. So they have prerequisites. So that will be comes under the Trailheads. So the Trailheads is one of the platform which we have, the website by a Salesforce. They have their own what do you say, like, subjects, and their own the topics, and they have explanation for each and everything. Within that, you have a hands-ons. If you're a developer, you have a hands-on related to that. If you're just admin, even that has the basic level of automations, or the basic level of setups. So those things are within that, and even the quiz to, like, the check the knowledge of it. And we have a Salesforce documentations. And again, it's like, the standard the documentation which we have it for the Salesforce. If you search for certain topics, let's say for admin, there will be multiple topics to complete the admin certifications. For that, if you have certain doubts with certain topics, you can search the topics in Salesforce documentations. So where you get exact details of the the exact details, where, like, you get this, where you will go, the path of it, how we can do it, what all the things we have it in that. So these are the things you will get it in. Other than that, you can have it in LinkedIn. Obviously, like, we have a different the sources which we get from the LinkedIn. A lot of blogging channels or the YouTubes, we have it. So coming to the skills for the success, what are the things we can have it in the Salesforce? So as I mentioning, even Pratik was mentioning, so we have a Salesforce admin on the top of career growth. So where as a developer, we come from a background of developing. If you want to be a developer also, you should be knowing the first thing was admin, so which is a configuration. So two terminologies, if you come to Salesforce, as a stream, right? So you will be handling with the two terminologies. One is configuration and another one is customization. If you remember, the Pratik was just giving some hints on that, what is customization and all. So the configuration is the first thing where it's easier, like, I just say it's more easier than the customization what we do. So it's something like, we have already set up basically the Salesforce as its own setup already, to based on our customer the info, our customer the related informations, or we need to build something, we will gather it, we set up as a admin, we set up the things, and we will make it as a one service to the customers. So that, if you want to know that, you should be knowing the configuration, which is like, basic skills of it. So such as, the basics, like creating objects, and I won't say those keywords, because as a beginners, you won't be understanding what all these keywords. If you don't know the basic Salesforce, then after that, these things are comes in. What is configuration, and what are the things are coming under that. And second thing, after the configuration, within that itself, we have a securities. So user management and the security is one. So as a Salesforce application, if you're using, like, platform, there will be certain number of peoples, like, who will be using the systems. As a customer comes in, and we give, like, we have 10 people who will be working on these systems, who will feed a data, or who will be doing certain works. So for that reason, we have a user management and the security. What does mean is, like, let's say a company has a manager and his subordinates, or some his subordinates again. So there is a level of the roles we have it in certain, in all the companies basically, if you consider. So in that scenario, in Salesforce has its own role features, and the profiles. Basically, manager is on the top level, then his the field the reps, and again the comes under the again the junior reps. So similar way, the each has their own security or the visibility towards the data. Basically, let's say I, as a manager, I have a certain people under me. I want to see the records or the data belongs to that person. So that happens, how visibility can happen, or my whatever data I created should not be visible to my juniors, because that's a confidential. So those things all, like the setup or the management done using Salesforce administrative. And the third one, and the main thing which most of the customer also use, that is like reports and dashboards. So where the moreover, like we focus on the data, how we chart it or how we show it. And again comes to developers, we'll talk again the the terminology which you see here, like apex programming. So you may not be knowing what exactly, because uh, already you are learning of the Java and all. So we'll explain how to come through this and how we can become a developer if you don't know these languages. So how you can build your network, basically. So we have a different platforms. The first thing, what we have, um, each city, for example, currently I'm in Bangalore and we have a office in Hyderabad. So each city has their own, the Salesforce has their own community group. So each city, they will with the developers or with the BAs, whatever this people comes under the developing or the BAs, and in any companies, they will join these Salesforce groups or the communities across the cities, and they will get to know what are the the functions or the events. Basically, each city has their own event. Like it's continuously, we are doing in every places. Obviously, like in Bangalore, we have a weekly weekends. We have a different events to know more about the Salesforce and how we are doing it. So these are the links we will again give it to and show it to you where exactly you can go to and we can check for. And the second thing, again participating on these events, the city wise we have, and other events like the Dreamforce, which is the biggest event ran by Salesforce peoples. So those are the events. If you join those events, you will get a community where you will get a folks who already working in Salesforce, and you can gather more information with them, or you can build a network within them. So the third one, obviously we have a LinkedIn options where we collaborate as a professional. We collaborated over there. So if you want to start a journey in Salesforce, these are the certain things. One, I was mentioning previously also, the trailhead. So Salesforce, a website, like you can say, where you have each and everything the Salesforce has, basically. So this is the link for a Salesforce, trailhead.salesforce.com. And the standard documentations we have for the developers and the non-developers also. Whatever topic you search in this below links, if you see the help.salesforce.com or developer.salesforce.com, so whatever topic you search for, if you want to learn, it will give the detailed the documentations or the detailed perspective of it. And the last one we have, as I mentioned again already, by a networking, you get a more details. So even LinkedIn has its own certain topics they will post it, or the blogs they will post it, or we have a ABSYZ website where we will post a blog related to each and everything. So we have a lot of already, you can check our website also with the under a blog, you can check it again. All right. Yeah, over to you, Manasa.
Okay.
Before Mansa,
Yes,
before you take over. So yeah,
yes, yes.
many of the audience would be thinking that uh, how would they get into, right? As a fresher just out of college, how would you get into the Salesforce ecosystem? So when someone tries to hire you or interview you for a Salesforce related technical position, what they would look for is a few things. First of all, you all would have heard of object oriented programming concepts. That is one thing that you should be very good on. There are data structures you should be good on. Okay. And then in general, databases, like when we talk about database, you should be good, or you should have idea of how to write queries, because the queries in Salesforce are very much similar to the relational database queries of like which you have, right, SQLs. And then you should have a general knowledge of any one of the object-oriented programming languages. Okay, if you have an idea of JavaScript, that's a very good add-on to have. But yeah, these are the things where you need to focus on in order to basically get into the technical division of Salesforce as a starting off as a Salesforce admin. Okay. So these are very, very important topics. You all would have learned it during your bachelor's overall curriculum, but then all these would be in some way or the other utilized when you actually work on real-time projects. So these are the things you need to focus on when you're talking about getting into an interview for Salesforce related positions. Okay. Yeah, Mansa, over to you.
Thank you, Pratik. I had that question, Pratik. So you stole that question and answer both. Okay. Okay. So moving on, I have few questions for you, Pratik and Shamil. So there was a lot of knowledge given on what CRM is all about, what Salesforce CRM is all about, what is it, what is the career path ladder and all. But I have few basic questions which our audience might also have. So on behalf of them, I'm asking you. So the first question is for you, Pratik. How is the Salesforce market now, and what are the opportunities otherwise?
Yeah, so Salesforce market is ever evolving, right? When I came into the ecosystem, there were hardly few products, and people could have said that okay, they know Salesforce in and out. But as of now, you cannot say that. No one can say that. Anyone in the
Hmm.
ecosystem. So
Hmm.
because there are so many different verticals of Salesforce, it's obviously the percentage or the probability of the chances to get into the ecosystem has also increased. The jobs has also increased. If we talk about now, and Salesforce always keeps on launching new products. So if you want to know about a certain product, get trained into it, and obviously there will be some or the other position somewhere where you can get into. So that's the scenario as of now.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Pratik. Now I have a question for you, Shamil. So you have been talking about certifications, technical perspective, like do this certifications or this certifications add a lot of value on your profile, or while you're going for the interview, Pratik was covering certain aspects that what basics they have to cover and all. So what skills you covered on technical, but again, what skills on the technical and the soft skills are crucial for a successful career in a Salesforce? I mean to say, how can a fresher gain a practical experience to get into the Salesforce technology?
Yeah. So, basically when we start our journey, so we won't be knowing what Salesforce, like we have a certain highlights on it, so what Salesforce does, whatever it is. But as a college new joinees, even when I joined, I don't know about what is Apex, whatever things were running out of it, like as a developer when we joined, right? So the basic thing which we expect as a Salesforce, when we go for a recruitment or something like that, as already Pratik was mentioning. So one point was like, they should be doing OOP, which is object oriented programming, on any languages, as they know, Java or C++, they have it already. And
Mm,
again, the second thing, the main conception over here is like, the HTML already they are knowing, or, that's the basic which we have again. And the third point, as we deals with the data, a lot of data, they should be knowing again SQL, which that's a basics, which we also have in our own Salesforce also. That's where they learn. According to that's what about the technical things. Coming to the another main perspective which we see is like wherever you go as a technical or a non-technical, the communication is the main key point. So
mm,
the communication, if you have a good communication, you can handle a customer, you can handle everyone in the things which we were running in the the project as well. So if you have a good communication point, you can contact anyone, the developers within our team also, if you're like developing something, and that will help you understand the problems also, like if you have a good communication as well, so where you will communicate and you will get more insights on it. The communication is a key point, I can say again.
Yes, Shamil, very much. As a HR, I think I would say somebody who's presentable and who's communicating well. I don't want somebody who has an accent or something like that. But as a HR, if I see somebody who's able to communicate and present themselves, I think half of the scores are already achieved. Thank you. Thank you for that, Shamil. Now I have a question for Pratik. So what are the job search strategies, Pratik? So what would you advise for the freshers who wants to land on for a Salesforce job? So what networking or communities? I know that there are certain communities and network which have been shown by Shamil. But what is a quick piece of advice for the freshers on the job search strategy?
Okay, so nowadays everyone is very familiar with LinkedIn. So that is one place where they can go. Obviously, if you see, we also have our LinkedIn page over there. You can see on the screen. You can always visit our LinkedIn page, and you get to know about the job posts, whatever is available or open with us. Similarly, LinkedIn by themselves have their own job section where you can look for Salesforce related jobs.
Mhm.
And as a fresher, obviously, there would be many companies like us who would probably come to your campus and then do recruitment. That is one way. But then you can also search for a search outside wherein you would get career fairs organized by Salesforce itself, maybe,
Right.
where you can go ahead and register. So yeah,
Right.
there are multiple areas, multiple sites, multiple ways in which you can reach out to, and you can obviously go to our page on LinkedIn, and there we have a job section. You can look for any available jobs in apps.
Right, right. That's very helpful, Pratik. I think there's an important question for Shamil. So, what are the challenges in Salesforce, Shamil? I mean, we have been talking all the good part about the Salesforce CRM, right? Now, tell me, what are the challenges in the Salesforce career? What are the common challenges a fresher face? I will not talk about the experience because challenges there everywhere. But as a fresher, what could be the challenges which we need to be prepared as a fresher?
So coming to the challenges, when we are also like, we joined from 21 batch where we did not had a much knowledge on the Salesforce. Like when the Salesforce, ABSYZ came in and they started hiring. So their main objective was like, the Salesforce partner company. So when we heard the word Salesforce itself, we are not having any knowledge where we thought like, sales. So the challenges as a developer, they can have it like, either they have learned, they might be knowing OOP, but still, so they have certain limits over there, and we have a lot of things which is running on, basically Salesforce has a never end, like, they have a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to, innovate over there. Like it's that's the best point I can say, the lot of things to innovate. So using the challenging mind over there will be the challenging part, I say, because that's the way we have a lot of, like, each day we will come up with the new things, we'll learn the new things. For there they want, it's a challenging over point. And as I mentioning that last time also, the communication we saw till now, like, I was in ABSYZ for a while, as a communication point, we have seen a lot of people having that gap over there. So improving that will be a best thing. That's the challenge we can see it over, when we, tackle with the customers, basically.
Right. That's absolutely right, Shamil. I completely agree with you. Now, for the benefit of time, I'm clumping two questions together. So I want to ask you, Shamil and Pratik, both of you, what is the final piece of advice would you give it to a fresher who is aspiring to build a career in the Salesforce CRM? Also, I want to know one nice experience of yours in your career. So let's go with Pratik.
Okay, so like it's a very what to say, cliched statement, but then keep your basics right.
Okay.
Okay, that is what will help you to get into anything related to Salesforce. When I say basics, I'm talking about whatever you have learned in your college. Okay,
Hmm.
because obviously we, while recruiting also, we know that people know about Salesforce. So we look into the basics that they have done throughout. So yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the second question? Sorry.
Yes, Pratik. Sorry, Shabir.
Yeah, so as already mentioned, yeah. So if you are running into any Salesforce company, not necessarily you should be having exact knowledge on the Salesforce, but the key points which we mentioned, right? So that will be the main things which when we go for hiring also we will look for. Like if you know that knowledge, you will be able to like anyways the companies or the wherever we go, there will be a training for that. So training is additionally on top of it, but you should be knowing the basic knowledge on Salesforce and the basic knowledge on the programming, like if you are a developer basically, and the if you are being the BAs or something like that, so it will be like basic knowledge on the Salesforce will be enough. Yeah.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Shamil and Pratik. So for the audience, please post in your questions in the chat box. We are open to answer your questions. While I don't see any questions, Arpit, do we have any questions? While the questions are getting posted,
Yeah, it's in Q&A, Mansa. You can take it from Q&A. Just open that. There's a lot of questions there.
Okay, cool, got it here. Right. Hmm. We have a okay. Let me not take any.
So just for everybody's reference, we'll try to cover whatever questions we can. Otherwise, we'll answer you separately. Yeah. Thank you,
Yes,
Mansa.
absolutely. Thanks, Edward. Thank you so much. So the question is, will there be a training for freshers so they can be adjusted to the company environment? So if Akhilesh, if it is for ABSYZ, Arpit can, Pratik can answer this. The answer is yes, but if Pratik won't elaborate it.
Yeah, so yeah, as Vanza said, the answer is yes. We have training that we do for all the newcomers, those who come right out of college, and you get a very elaborate training wherein you learn about the platform, you learn about the standard stuff, and yeah. So in short, the answer is yes, and you'll get trained on that.
Yes, yes. Okay, the next question is it necessary to have a Salesforce certification to get into the Salesforce? Okay, Salesforce certificate for your drive.
This is for hiring, I believe. Shamil, you can answer.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So as we mentioned, right, for the hiring, we don't require any certification. Certification is as part of Salesforce journey, which we have it like, once you hired, right? So after that, when you have a Salesforce journey, when you have a customer facing and all, we require certain skills, which will be there in your the lifetime, whenever you learn after your training. So for hiring perspective, we do not require any certification as of now. We will be looking for, as we mentioned, right? So we'll be looking for the basic knowledge of Salesforce plus the the what you have studied already in your colleges like OOPs and all. So that's what we expecting. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Shamil. The next question is, do we need to prepare Apex programming in depth, like triggers list for hiring as a fresher, for getting hired as a fresher?
Yeah,
Sure.
I can answer. Yeah, great. Like, the topics they have mentioned, they are already saw like what is Apex and those things. What are the things we have? Because, Apex is a language which we don't have in colleges. We won't learn like, the Javas and all. So we have like every company is usually like I believe because we have already trainings which is held in each companies to know about those things. So as we become a developer, if you want to become a developer, that will be a path when you after hiring. Basically, it's after hiring, that's a path. So if you know already about some knowledge, anyways, like when a company comes, we will see what are the things we have. That's a basic knowledge we can have, not in depth of it. Yeah. Do you want to add anything, Pratik, over here?
Yeah, means if you have idea about any of the object-oriented programming languages like Java, and Apex is very much similar to Java, so don't worry about it. But yeah, you should have at least knowledge of any one of the object-oriented programming languages.
Cool, got that. Okay, the next question is, I'm more focused and good on cyber security domain. How will I be helpful?
Okay, so a nice question, by the way. But
Yes.
when you talk about cyber security, Salesforce as a company itself gives you all the necessary security adjustments that are needed. But in case you are very much interested into the Salesforce security side of things, you can start with Salesforce admin and a developer, and probably you can move ahead uh, in that domain, specifically in that domain, and try to search for jobs which are actually working in making the Salesforce platform secure at a very high level. Okay, so when you begin, you might not get directly into cybersecurity in Salesforce because that's managed by Salesforce. But yeah, you can move ahead, and someday later in the road, you can actually work on the backend side of things where Salesforce implements security. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks, Pratik. Now the next question is, what coding languages we need to learn as a fresher? And as a fresher, we can't write code ourselves. Then how to write code in assessment round? It will be tough. Yes. Yes, Pratik.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, see, that is what I said. It's not, see, Apex is a different language, but it's very similar to Java. If you don't know Java, you should at least know not know, at least you should have an idea of how programs work. Okay, so someone who knows how object-oriented programming works, even if they can write pseudo code, we consider it. Okay, because ultimately what happens is you can always see the syntax of writing the code in Google, everyone does that. But what to write will have to be taught. Okay, or you should know, you should have that ability to think about how you would approach a solution.
Yeah, logical
So,
thinking.
yes.
Hmm, hmm. Cool. The next question is little hatke. What mistakes do you see now professionals commonly make, and how that can be avoided? They are preparing their future, Pratik.
Yeah, so what mistakes is like shortcuts. Okay, there is no shortcut. So if you are learning something, learn it in detail, because if in some on some day later in your career, you will be stuck for one thing that you missed somewhere down the road while going up the ladder. So that's one thing. So whenever you learn something, learn it in detail. Just don't learn it for, like, generally in colleges we do things just to pass the exam, right? You should not do that in your personal professional life. That's the advice.
Cool. That's thank you so much, Pratik. So I'm taking the last question now. We have another couple of questions, but we will answer them in this chat box. But the last question, because for the benefit of time, the last question is: what is major difference between Salesforce and other cloud services like AWS, Google Cloud, etc., according to the services and future it provides?
Okay, so all of these which you named are cloud platforms. Okay, but
Mhm,
many of means Salesforce has a specific uh, functionality. Or when we talk about Salesforce, is not only the platform. Salesforce
mhm,
has products on top of the platform which can help you build things very faster in comparison to others. Okay,
mhm,
so
mhm,
when we have like power of both, right? You have something which is out of the box where you
mhm,
don't need to worry much about how you would build it, and then you build on top of it based on your specific customer requirements. So
mhm,
in all in all, the process is very faster. Okay,
mhm,
so
mhm.
that's one very important aspect in Salesforce.
Great. Okay, so questions for the benefit of audience, please shoot in your questions to marketing@absys.com. This is the ID where you have received the invite also for this link. So we would love to answer the rest of the questions for the benefit of time. So I have another 4 or 5 questions in the pipeline in the line, but I am not able to take those questions. But please shoot into the marketing ID. We will be happy to respond back to that. So thank you, Pratik and Shamil. Before we close the webinar, I have a few crazy questions because I just want to keep this on a very happy and a positive note. So I just want to ask, and I want your quick response also on this. So the first question for you is, Pratik, if you were not a Salesforce architect, what would you have been? You have to be quick. I'm not giving you time.
Okay, so I would probably have been a badminton player, maybe,
Oh, wow. Okay. And Shamil?
but had an injury. So
Okay. Shamil?
For me, it was like, the robotic person who will build these robots. I was very interested on that, during my college days. So it was like, yeah, that was a, thing.
You can still do it now, Shamil. We are open.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Now, question for you, Pratik. If Salesforce was a superhero, what would it be? Which superhero it would have been?
superhero.
Hmm.
Okay, probably Superman, Kryptonite, right? So
Okay. Cool. Now
out
the
of the
question.
world.
Sorry, Pratik.
I mean, out of this world.
Out of this world. Okay. Okay. Now the question for you, Shamil. If Salesforce had a theme song, what would it be?
Nice. That was a good one. So I can say two words, when we are working, there will be two things. When the requirement comes in, we see it as a one level, which is easy. So I can, I was listening one song today morning. Yeah. Tum Mile. Yeah, that was a song. Tum Mile, because when the requirement comes in, we'll be like, seems like it's very easy, but we have a certain deadline also. So when we reaches, if it is becoming difficult, it's like kal ho na ho.
Okay, cool. Now the last question for you, Shamil. How do you explain what do you do in Salesforce to a people who has no idea about the CRM? Which be, I mean, maybe your grandmother or a grandfather. What would you explain to them?
So it's like, we are doing some magics to make a customer happy where we are making their data, in a certain format where they were happy by seeing it actually. So that's where the customer relation, we are always saying CRM. So we are making them happy by using our, Salesforce.
Okay, great. I mean, with this answer, I remember one thing. So my grandmother asked me, "What do you do? Where do you work?" So I wore a ABSYZ ka T-shirt and I showed her, I work here. So she's like, "Oh, you work in a T-shirt company." So that's the communication gap. She don't know how to read, right? So I should have told, like, work in a company called ABSYZ. So I think you clearly explained very well on that aspect, Shamil. Thank you so much. We are top on time. For the people who would like to ask more questions, please drop in your questions to the marketing ID, which is from where you have received the link. Also, we'll post it in the chat box. This comes to a closure of our amazing webinar. I would like to thank my panel. Thank you so much for dedicating the time and sharing your thoughts and journey with us, Shamil and Pratik. It was very insightful. I would also want to like to thank the participants for the participation and time, and for the questions you have dropped in. Very enthusiastic audience and the questions. Thank you for my coordinators, Arpit, Saujanya, and everybody who has been there behind and helping us to make this webinar a successful one. Wishing you all good luck. Thank you, and we are happy to answer your questions, whatever you drop in your in an email ID.